Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are defending Japan here. And I think we're not doing too bad a job of it. I'm going to put these units on defend for the time being, though, because I want to make sure that I'm not getting too far out ahead of what I have the ability to accomplish over there with that force comparison ratio. And because I'm actually going to mobilize our conscripts here. Just get a little artillery into these defense forces. And because I think I'm hedging all of our bets on our invasion of Pomerania. So let me see. I think in the meantime, Larissa is nearly maxed out on ports. Sind needs more ports. I'm just going to take a little time to build, to deal with my convoy problem, and then I'll put an end to construction for the time being, and just focus on keeping my finances going with the war and all. So we'll set the strategic target to. Okay, we don't have a front there, so we'll just do that. So, ooh, this is very good. I think we might be able to actually make this happen if we can continue to win over here and they don't pull a huge force back from Japan, which they are currently doing, but it's only 66 battalions, and more importantly, they're already in Japan. So how much occupation have we got? What percentage over here? We're already 45% over here. So I think if we can win 2 more battles, we'll be where we want to be. And Prussia will be partially occupied, and that'll be that. And in fact, once that happens, once we've got the Prussian capital of Brandenburg, I'll be able to just let Prussia's war support run out, and that'll be the end of the war. Police brutality. Interesting. The use of extreme force is becoming increasingly common among police officers in the East Indian Oud. The working class and socially conscious are rallying against the police as an institution. Scarcely a week passes without their committing some offence which disgusts everybody but the magistrates. Boys are bruised by their ferocity, women insulted by their ruffianism, and that which brutality is done, perjury denies, and magisterial stupidity suffers to go unpunished. Police brutality is becoming one of our most venerated institutions. We cannot tolerate this behavior. Happier youths, Bajralaks, and civil servants. Reduced law enforcement investment, or the use of force is warranted. Happier government of India, happier Indian army. Lower sternum pops in Oud become more radical. I'm going to go with the first one. Making all these groups happier is nice, and I'll definitely be able to just climb institutional investment back up over the course of the year. So, let's set our strategic target to Brandenburg, and we'll start occupying Prussia. Rabindranath Tagore retires. There's now a Democrat heading up the Zamindars. Well, that should be interesting. The Indian Army. I thought this already happened, but the government of India is issuing has issued an order unifying the 3 Indian armies into a single army, the East India Army. Curious. It's been in the works for a good while. Irrational, so they say, with quite a lot of redundancy. I'm surprised they made it past the telegraph. Company relic, yes, I agree. Do you believe we retain too much of their structure? What else could we do? India is hardly a flexible land. For reforms such as these, 40 years is quite swift. A victory for efficiency, increased Indian Army political strength, Indian Army is renamed Indian Army, reduced state penalties from turmoil for 5 years, or an opportunity to further incorporate native troops. 2% of South Asian pops become more loyalist. Indian Army is renamed Indian Army. Not as much state penalties reduced from turmoil, but increased training rate. I'm going to do the second one. That's going to give me a big bump in loyalists, and that's useful. Heck yes. Cause without a rebel. Although Francisco Morales is still fighting for his cause, no one is following him anymore. So he's part of the liberal movement? The peasant movement. One of my largest movements, actually. Despondent, Morales has started publicly remarking that he may give up on his activism altogether. What's the point? Speakers when we have any speak to empty halls and at empty chairs. There's no crowds, no banners. If anyone pays attention at all, they never understand anything we're preaching. What reason is there to stay here? We're all stuck doing nothing. I can say no time for timidity. The movement needs drastic changes, which has a 33% chance of increasing attraction to the movement, decrease in attraction to the movement, or increasing movement radicalism. Activism, rather. Or I can just say perhaps Morales can find greener pastures elsewhere and exile him. I'm going to exile him. I think that's just fine. So, I think from here, I'm going to put the Bombay Defense Force in here just to prevent front chicanery into Prussia, just to prevent any kind of weird front nonsense. We've actually got almost all of Brandenburg. So, our enemies are extremely likely to surrender reasonably soon. Yeah, we got 90% control of Brandenburg. Ever-increasing influence. Members of the Anti-Russian Association have discreetly dispatched one of their members to amplify their mission in India's most widely read newspaper. The Anti-Russian Association has calculated with utmost mastery the dissemination of materials to secure a foothold in both the political world and the public's imagination. With great satisfaction, lobbyist comments, there is no denying that the number and reach of newspapers is ever expanding. This approach is sure to reach influential lawmakers to favor our scheme. This sets a bad precedent, government of India salty. Or this is ingenious, appeasement increases by 1, reduced legitimacy. I'm going to go with the second one. I can take a little legitimacy hit right now. I got huge legitimacy in here, especially because of all those photos. So if I can win this battle, that's Brandenburg occupied, and that's Prussia's ability to continue the war basically toasted. Force comparison here in Japan is still quite difficult, but we are winning some of our... Yeah, we're winning some of our defensive battles, so hopefully we'll continue to hold the line. Bombay Army is still in India. Bhopal is damaging relations, so that's not a problem. Excellent. And now we've got a hold of Brandenburg. So, that means... How fast is Prussia losing more support? Not that fast. But, Japan's still got control of all of her war goals. All the war goals. So if we can continue to take over bits and pieces of Prussia, which will be a lot easier now that we're bringing in another army, even a small one, then we should be able to... then it's only a matter of time before Prussia is at negative war support. Whereas Japan's war support is holding, and Japan has very strong war support protection, because they need to get... Prussia needs to get a hold of a huge swath of central Japan before Japan is can be properly forced to capitulate. So I'm feeling reasonably confident about our ability to win this one. Sorry, Prussia, it's just you are going to upset the balance of power, and I can't have that. Upset the balance of power in Europe. Prussia, that's what you should be doing. You should be focusing on making a giant problem in Europe, where you belong. Ooh, getting a hold of Schlesien. Schlesien? I'm pronouncing this territory wrong. Alright, and there's the peace treaty. Beautiful. So, finances are doing much better now. Infamy is down. And I'm feeling pretty happy. Let's do some more annexing. Let me see. John C. 4.7 infamy. Kota can't annex. This is Idar 5.4. Belstar is only 2.5. Yeah, that's going to put a lot of countries at war with me. A lot of my princely states. Let's go for it. All right. So, who's in? Who's in? Quite a few. Let's conquer. me see, I can get Malwa. Ooh, I can get Malwa. I definitely will. I'm going to grab Hyderabad. That's this huge swathe of territory here. Let me see, 40 more maneuvers. Let's see, I can get... Now, Siam's supporting them again. Let me see, I can get Indore here. Yep, I'll definitely do that. And then I'll add... I can get either Indore or Gwalior Rajputana. It's this tiny territory in here. I'll grab Indore Rajputana. That'll be just fine. So let me see. I'm going to give it a little time. And just give myself some time for my armies to get home. Feminism unlocked. That's fun. Don't need a 9th Indian Army, that's for sure. So, I think we'll put the Bombay Army on what I see as the main front here in Hyderabad. Bengal Defense Force we'll put on the territories here, Bastar Jaipur. We'll put the Madras Defense Force here. And we'll put the Bombay Defense Force here. If we need more from here, we'll take a look at how the force comparison looks. And if it looks good, then we won't worry too much. If it looks like there are some places, some fronts we could use more forces on, then we'll look at other... Oh, these two are the same front. Okay, so we'll move the Bengal Defense Force over here to this front. And see if that improves things. We're at 57 here, 6 here. 79. Oh my goodness, I forgot about Siam. Alright, so we'll put the Khalsa Army on the front in Siam, and we'll put the Pakistan Defense Force in the southern front in Siam as we're wont to do. And then what's this? There's an absolutist revolt in Bhavnagar. Where is Bhavnagar? Over here. I'll keep an eye on the situation. It seems like the Bhavnagari government has got that one pretty thoroughly handled. So we'll see how things go. I don't unfortunately have any maneuvers, or I would do something to go after Siam. Just out of spite for their making my life cumbersome, but it is what it is. Gosh, we're taking a long time at taking all these states. It's taken almost the entire decade. The only extent to which I support independence for other subjects of Great Britain is to the extent that they're becoming my subjects. Ibanks is almost here. Central planning. Ooh, Poppy Dock. Excellent achievement. That's for exporting a lot of opium. And then we'll queue in the telephone. Actually, we'll queue in the telephone first. And then we'll queue in central planning. Because central planning is what's going to give us the ability to use the telephone industry. So if we get the telephone first, then we'll take a run at central planning afterward and get that knocked out as fast as we can. Alright? Very good. New neighbors, new grudges. A minority group of Sumatran people has recently settled in the state of Assam, seeking a better future. However, the local English elites are stirring up resentment, claiming that the Sumatran newcomers will destroy their traditional way of life. They don't belong here. Our English customs, our way of life, they'll be lost if we let the Sumatrans settle, claimed a prominent landowner, his words echoing through the taverns and markets of Gauhati. Their neighbors, hopeful but weary, whisper of opportunity but face closed doors and hostile stares. So this is Assam. How big is the English population of Assam? Tell me, really. 31%. Gosh darn. There sure are a lot of English living here. Let's hope most of them aren't upper stardom pops. The English way of life will need to accommodate their new neighbors. Weak changeover. Doesn't look like the amount of loyalists has even been affected whatsoever. Jaipur damaging relations, not my problem. Looks like the government has got a hand on things here in Bhavnagar. so I'm going to let that go for the moment. And deal with my other issue, which is that I've started myself a massive war with all my subjects. That said, I'm doing pretty solid. My economy is still large, and my finances are getting better. Jammu and Kashmir is damaging relations, but I gave you a salute with so many guns. So many guns. Alright, there we go. Nice. Indian army is no longer influential. That shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is what it is. So I looked up what a 21-gun salute state is. Apparently there was a whole complicated system of how basically what the princely states were rated as was very complicated back in those days, and the organization of it was how many guns you got saluted with when you were in your official capacity as the ruler of that state, and that's kind of how it was organized, which is really interesting. That's extremely British, I will say. That's one of the Britishest things I have ever seen, is the salute state system. Reading about that is absolutely bananas. There's like 6 states that get the full 21-gun salute, and I think there was some kind of fancy religious leader, some kind of religious leader of the local religious leaders that gets a full. There's law enforcement investment getting back up. That gets like a 30-gun salute, and then if Queen Victoria shows up to visit, she gets a. No, wait, no, hold on. I do want you over here. Hold on. Do I have another army kicking around here? I do. This army. No, that's just the Madras Defense Force. Okay, never mind. And she gets like an 110-gun salute or 101-gun salute or something. And there's like 5 states that get 19, and a whole block of them that get somewhere in the 17 range. And then most are in the 11 to 15 and below 11. It's very complex. The Anti-Russian Association has offered us an opportunity to establish an alliance with Prussia. Their proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter Russian interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could in theory appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who preferred to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them towards a reckless confrontation in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. I plan to fight the Russian Republic to the last Prussian, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He had practiced responses along both lines, but none of them quite fit. We'd be happy to pursue this, or this is not in our interests. I'm going to say this is not in our interests. Empty pockets. A series of perceived poor decisions by the peasant movement has led to a notable decrease in its ability to raise money. Numerous wealthy sympathizers have quietly halted their support for the movement in its current form. We do not wish to appear partisan. Always the same refrain. The organizer paced back and forth in his tiny office, fist clenched until it felt as if his knuckles were about to burst through his skin. Occasionally he stole a glance at the unopened envelopes on his desk, all of which he knew would repeat a variation on the same. Partisan. What did that mean? That they cared for something? That they'd chosen to do something beyond count the money in their vaults? He had something important to do, something which would improve society itself. They had a chance to do the same. In that light, how could partisanship possibly be bad? Perhaps it will find alternative sources of funds, 2% of pops in West Bengal become more loyalist, weaker peasant movement, or everything dies in the end, some faster than others, much weaker peasant movement. I don't really need to weaken the peasant movement, so I'm going to do the first one. 2% loyal pops in West Bengal is always nice to have. Alright, I'm going to grab my peace treaty, my war thingy here, and cue in all of my war goals. And that will get us everything we desire. I'm going to need to build up some more government admin. In fact, I'm going to build up more government admin now. Agra is chronically short of admin, so I'll keep building them up. Let me see. Yeah, we'll do another 30 levels in Agra. Obviously, this is going to cost us a pile of cash. But it is what it is. Alright, time to start incorporating Hyderabad. And that's why I'm building a bunch more government admin. Because incorporating states in India costs a lot of bureaucracy, as might be guessed. Satara damaging relations, well, I certainly don't want that. Ooh, large numbers of Hawaiian people are migrating from Hawaii into Carnatic and the surrounding states. That's fun. Reiwa's out of the war. Jaipur is out of the war. Very nice. Everything is coming up India. Is Siam out of the war yet? Nah, I'm still fighting in Siam. Well, that's where my extra army went. Well, that's fine. It's not a problem. We'll continue to do what we're doing. Alright, so that's Siam out of the war. This front has been split up into multiple fronts, but we're defending all of them. There's Malwa conquered. Oh, I completed Purveyor of Progress somehow. That's exciting. Let's go ahead and read that one. Railways for Prosperity. The Grand Railway project has finally been completed. The new railway opens up new opportunities for people to travel, work, and connect across the country. With the completion of this station, the Raj's future is secure. Our network of trains will be the backbone of our trade, our military, and our very government. Steam and coal will run in the veins of the empire, and this beautiful station, named after our great king, will be its beating heart. Magnificent. 50% migration attraction, 15% railway throughput. Nice. Language in the classroom. Hawaiian students sometimes use their native language in East Indian schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of the Dominion of India. You've noticed it too, right? Yeah, he gets angry when anyone talks in class, but he always gets angrier when we're talking. Maybe he thinks we're talking about him. I just think he doesn't like being reminded that we know something he don't. Schools to teach in the proper language. 10% of Hawaiian pops become more radical. 20% increase in assimilation, extra radicalism for discriminated pops. Or their language is part of their heritage. Reduced assimilation, reduced radicalism from discriminated pops. Bajra Lak's happy, government of India unhappy. I'm actually going to do the first one. It's going to radicalize a very small number of Hawaiian pops. How many Hawaiian pops is that actually? In Carnatic, if we're being honest with ourselves, how many Hawaiian people are there here? 3.5k. Okay, so it's 350 radicals. I can definitely tolerate that much. 5% increase, 20% increased assimilation is pretty good, and there's no one in open prejudice, cultural erasure, or violent hostility. So I think this is just a net win. Schools to teach them to speak the proper language, all of them. Hindi, English, the works. Is someone going to this other front? Now you are. No, you. So we took Malwa, and I'm going to start incorporating them as well. Wow, those government... I'm just not used to government admins building as fast as they build in this build of the game, I gotta tell you. It's absolutely bananas. This is also Malwa. Alright, so we're already in the process of incorporating that territory. Very good. Soon our font size will be large. Ha ha ha! Yes, the largest of font sizes will be ours. Again, the Indian National Movement and All India Muslim League are low in strength, so both of these conditions should be satisfied. I'm really at a loss of understanding what's going on with all that stuff. So, yeah, I bet they left the British Empire. So. State actions. Reset production methods here. Central province is already incorporated, and these other territories are 20% to incorporation. Very good. Or 20 years to incorporation. It's going to be a long time incorporating, but, you know, it's a process. Standardizing things in the country and all that. Alright. So, from here, we've got a little bit more time in the episode. Is it time to do another wave of annexations? I think it is. Let me see. If I annex Idar... Annex Idar. Who stands again? Oh, they're 5.5. That's a lot of infamy. What if I go after 7.5? 3.5 over here. Cochin, 7.3. Initial target's the thing that's important. Yeah, let's go after Pudukkottai. Cochin, Jaipur, Pudukkottai, and Siam. That's actually not that many states that are going to stand against me over here. That's very interesting. How do I get you, Jammu and Kashmir? 7.5. So if I do you, it's only Chitral and Bhutan. Yeah, I'll get Chitral and Bhutan. Absolutely. Just absolutely. Conquer Chitral. Conquer Bhutan. Alright, so now I'm a little high in infamy. So now I need to be a little bit more conscientious. With that having been said, I don't actually need to mobilize all that many troops for this situation. I think I can basically handle it with just the defense forces. I'll mobilize the other defense forces as well. No reason not to mobilize the defense forces. Everyone likes defense forces. This is going to the Madras army, and that's fine. Once Ceylon's improving relations. Very nice. Okay, stop popping new battalions. Stop it. Cut it out. I don't need a 9th army. I got 8 armies already. Cut it out. Alright, there we go. Oh, we got a tiny front over here. The Kashmiri proletarian revolt. That's quite curious. I wonder... Well, this is going to be weird. Because this is a revolt against Jammu and Kashmir at the same time as this. Am I... Rewa, damaging relations. Ah, okay, here we go. So, the United States is going after Japan to steal a bunch of territory, but the Russians are helping them. Wonderful. Alright, all is well. I don't need to get involved this time. Ooh, but if I ever do, now I've got landing craft. No, Luang Prabang, you can't have more autonomy. I will devour you. Your face, it's going to be mine. So basically my goal here is to get this territory conquered for Jammu and Kashmir before I conquer Jammu and Kashmir so that I don't have to take this territory myself again. Because actually conquering states is a real pain. Now I am short on authority and a little high on infamy. So I'm going to have to undo... no. I'm going to have to undo... I've got some encourage agricultural industries kicking around that I can go ahead and halt. I don't have starvation in these areas anymore, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That gives me plenty of authority to play with whenever I wish to play with my authority. I swear to peace, 9th Indian Army, you don't need to be here. You go home, be with your family. I will be the Brennan Lee Mulligan of this situation. Let me see, the United States is still feeling very confident, and Russia does not seem to have eased Japan's fears of this situation much at all. Prussians are shooting at the French, which is normal. Normal Tuesday night in Europe. Ceylon's improving relations. Force comparison here is not great, and that's fine. In fact, that's completely fine. Because then I can get this little war dealt with. This very strange little war where I'm helping my enemies against a revolt so that I can steal more of their territory later. Oh, I love this song. This is a good song. Ooh, opium plantations expanded. Very nice. Oh, before I do anything more, let me get my armies back on offense. Before I forget and leave them on defense in a way that makes them feel very silly. Bengal army needs a new leader. Let's go with a Bajralax guy. He's an innovative defensive strategist. Let me see. Yes, and I'm where I want to be in terms of my relations, which is fine. This 16 battalion force can definitely go over to the countries that are actually difficult to take over. I'll add all of these to these deals so that I can get the deals that I want to get when I achieve peace. This is me achieving peace. I'm achieving peace. Definitely not stealing other countries. Is Sikkim still a protectorate of Britain? It is. I should never have transferred Sikkim to Britain. Ridiculous claims. Ridiculous idea. Should never have done it. Alright, so that puts me in Jammu and Kashmir. I wasn't able to get the war done by the end of the year, but we'll get into the beginning of next year, and that'll be fun. Now my infamy is up, but that was the only way I was going to get Jammu and Kashmir, so it's worth it. Yep, and that's a pretty rock-solid force comparison, if I do say so myself. Battle in Chitral is going pretty well. Look at that, look at that. Alright. And that's Bhutan conquered. Chitral will be conquered soon. They're at 44% occupation. What about Jammu and Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir we're still working on, but again, this force comparison is looking really good. We have much greater capacity to replace our fallen forces than they do. So this is overall a win. 90% occupation over here. I gotta say, the hot air balloon thing is very, very good. I had underestimated how powerful the hot air balloon recon production method would be, but it is quite powerful. Ooh, and soon I'll actually have all of Chitral under my occupation, which will be nice, because Chitral is already fully incorporated, so that's just extra revenue for me, and that'll be just wonderful. Alright, now we're going after Jammu and Kashmir, and this is looking rock solid. In fact, I'm feeling extremely confident. Why are the trade unions upset? Why are you upset? You want graduated taxation. I get it, trade unions. Why don't you join the modernization movement? They love that stuff. Oh no, not them. The utilitarian movement, maybe? Yeah, they love that stuff. Join the utilitarian movement. Oh, there was a radical revolt in Macron, and I didn't even realize. Well, it seems like the government's got it dealt with. Seems like I don't have to worry about that. Alright, so there's Pashtunistan conquered. They need more railways, it seems like. Oh my gosh, do they ever. And there's Jammu and Kashmir occupied. Wonderful. They also need more railways. Let's go ahead and reset production methods. And start incorporating. Let me see. Yeah, we'll fight one more war. This war is probably going to be over before we can get there. It sure was. Aw, so good at things. We're getting there, we're getting there. Our font size is becoming even bigger. And soon our font will stretch across all of India. With that having been said, that is all that we've got time for tonight. My nerds have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.